I'm gonna rate it a 7 out of 10. Frampton versus Quigg, Behind the Ropes. Behind the Ropes is the UK's version or Sky Sports version of HBO 24/7 or Showtime All Access. What it is it's a look into the fighters' lives in training camp as they build up the fight. Carl Frampton is 21-0 with 14 KOs, the IBF champion at 122 pounds. And Scott Quigg, 31-0-2 with 23 KOs, the WBA, only WBA champion at this point in time at 122 pounds. So it's being called a unification fight, and okay, put it this way. Guillermo Rigondeaux is supposed to be the WBA Super World Champion or recognized champion at 122 pounds, but what they did was the WBA basically stripped him and made him what is called a champion in recess. The WBA ordered that the winner of Frampton versus Quigg must defend that WBA title, which will eventually be converted into the WBA Super World title against Rigondeaux after this fight. Now, what I'm wondering is Rigondeaux has said he's going to call out Frampton or Quigg, the winner of that fight. What I'm wondering is he going to show up to the fight? Now, who do I have winning? When you look at the resume of both fighters, Carl Frampton, in my opinion, is the more marketable fighter. Scott Quigg, he's been fighting on these undercards, and I can't remember the last time he actually headlined a fight himself. Carl Frampton is signed with Al Heyman and also has ties to American networks. Carl Frampton has fought on PBC, on CBS, whereas Scott Quigg hasn't fought in the United States or on United States television yet. So right now, I'm going to say I think it's pretty obvious that Carl Frampton is the more marketable fighter. And one of the reasons, if not the only reason why this fight is televised on Showtime, Showtime Special Edition, is going to be a midday card. And also they're going to play the replay later on that night with Leo Santa Cruz versus Kinko Martinez, which is taking place on the same day. It's because of Scott Quigg. I mean, it's because of Carl Frampton. Carl Frampton and Al Heyman is the reason why this fight is on national television. But see, there's something about Scott Quigg where I'm starting to get a little more confident that he does have a chance to win. He has a puncher's chance. When you look at his last fight against Kinko Martinez, even though Carl Frampton beat Kinko Martinez twice, he looked really good. He looked powerful, and he actually looked at his peak. Now, you can say it's Kinko Martinez that he looked this good against, but still, I don't know. He looked sharp. Now, when it comes to Carl Frampton's last fight, which was on the same day as Quigg versus Martinez, Carl Frampton got the win, but he didn't look so good in his American television debut against Alejandro Gonzalez. There was much left to be desired, and I'm wondering what Carl Frampton is going to show up, because Carl Frampton said at the end of the fight, and I got the interview right here on the channel at the end of the Gonzalez fight, in the post-fight interviews with the media, is that he was thinking about moving up to 126 pounds for the fight that's taking place right now, because he didn't feel good at 122 pounds. So how good is he going to feel at 122 pounds for this fight? And this fight is taking place, 8 months later? Both of these guys have had a tremendous amount of time off, and I'm just wondering, who is it going to affect more? Is it going to affect Scott Quigg, or is it going to affect Carl Frampton? And honestly, I'm starting to think that I wouldn't be surprised if Scott Quigg was to get a win via knockouts or multiple knockdown situation in a fight where Carl Frampton can control on the outside. But the big question is, will any of these guys fight Rigondeaux next? I think it's the most logical way to go, because when you look at the 122-pound division, Rigondeaux is still number one. Even though he doesn't have a belt, he's still number one in the division. Do I think that Carl Frampton can beat a Rigondeaux? I believe a Carl Frampton has a better boxer's chance than Scott Quigg. But like I said, Scott Quigg is somewhat of a wild card fighter that hasn't been tested yet. We just don't know exactly who he is, and I'm guessing it's going to come down to the coaching. Oh, by the way, over in the UK, this is looked at as a pretty good matchup with the coaches, Shane McGuigan on one side, with Carl Frampton, and Joe Gallagher on the other side with Scott Quigg. And Joe Gallagher's had a hell of a 2015. But like I said, man, we're just going to have to wait and see. I really don't know, if I can say honestly that I feel that Carl Frampton is just definitely going to win. Scott Quigg has a good chance, but it's all about if Scott Quigg is going to come and cut off the ring, because I see Carl Frampton doing a lot of moving. But it is fight week. I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. I really didn't. It was a good quality show, but I really didn't like behind the ropes. It really, you know, I expected to see a little bit more. I guess I don't know what I expected to see, but it seemed a little bit rushed. I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Follow me on Twitter right down below. The link's right down below. Please subscribe.